The regime's last stand, and it didn't last long, ended in Homs. The road into the city is littered with military vehicles destroyed or abandoned. A once fearsome checkpoint is empty, the city beyond it is free. In the centre of town, where an enormous statue of Assad once dominated, is now a place of celebration and selfies. All age groups singing and dancing. The presence of the rebel army is continuous, but nobody seems to mind. The regime was powerful in Homs because it destroyed the opposition. Some of the most appalling attacks on civilians happened here. It's a place called Bab el-Amr, and it was the home of the uprising in Homs. Barely a building was left undamaged in a campaign of blanket bombing and targeted attacks by the Syrian army in 2012. It's never been rebuilt, but people are returning now, living in the midst of the rubble. The fall of Assad is being greeted here as the start of a new life.
We feel like we've been born again. I went to the square and it felt like I was seeing it for the first time. I used to pass it all the time, but there was a celebration, and when I looked over, I felt like I'd never seen it before.
People are now on the streets, free of the fear of being arrested, imprisoned or murdered. These scenes of ordinary life just didn't exist in Bab el-Amr until now. At every corner, we were surrounded by people telling us of family members murdered by the regime. It was a constant. And then this. After 14 years in hiding, Maher Hassan, an anti-Assad activist, has just returned home. And this is his family.
I still can't believe it. I'm saying hello to everyone still. I've seen my mother for the first time in 14 years. My house is destroyed. They used to arrest and report protesters. There were spies within, and I got a notice that my name was on a list. My name was distributed to soldiers at checkpoints, so I couldn't cross checkpoints anymore.
I was here when the uprising started. Abu Firas was one of the Free Syrian Army soldiers who protected us. They were just in their 20s then. They showed me round the streets where we took refuge, and in the buildings where they tried to hold off Assad's forces. Their task was impossible against the barrage of rockets.
At that time, I deserted from the army. I was just 22 years old.
So at that time, we used to see FSA soldiers, fighters, but there weren't very many of you, were there? It was quite small.
There were few of us, and even our weapons were limited. There were few of us.
Sunday Times journalist Mary Colvin, French photographer Remy Oklik, Syrian activists and civilians all died here. They called it the media centre. Well, this is the heart of Bab el-Amr and its significance in Homs. It's really where the revolution against Bashar al Assad started. This building is incredibly significant because it was where activists worked and the media came here from the outside world. It was attacked a lot and all of the neighbourhoods here were attacked. This place, in the end, was hammered so much that everyone left, and they're now only just beginning to return because, of course, the regime has fallen. Homs is free now from Assad's long reign of terror. The future is far from clear, of course, but the present feels very special in Bab el-Amr. Stuart Ramsay, Sky News, Homs.